Hi everybody, it's Jen and I'm here with a video for my HTML and CSS uh, course, and we are going to cover how to get set up and do Lab 0. So here we go. I'm just going to move my Zoom out of the way and I am going to share my screen. I am working on a 2-monitor system, so yes, when I share my screen, I am looking at a screen here or a screen there. So here you see currently am in our HTML course shell on my canvas. And if I click modules, I will be able to see lab assignments. In lab assignments, you have lab 0, which is what you need to read and look through before you start setting this up. I have downloaded Lab 0 and I have also got it printed out in front of me. So there is that information there. So for your first login, and I won't be able to do this completely with you because I have already logged in for the first time. It says that you want to make sure that you've got the global VPN installed if you are off campus. So you're going to have to install Global VPN Protect on your personal computer. The way you do that is you click this link here. Okay, or you can copy and paste this in to your browser window. And in order to install it, students need to click here and enter your 9-digit student number and your regular Mohawk College password to log into your My Canvas and other places. Now, since I am Mohawk College staff, I have a different set of instructions. So I am going to follow those and install Global VPN Protect for staff, and I'll be right back. Once you have selected which version of Global Protect Portal that you want to download, you will see in your downloads folder that you have Global Protect MSI. I am going to go ahead and open that. And this will start installing Global Protect on my computer. So it goes into your program files. I'm going to hit the next, and it's going to take a moment to install. This part's key. Clicking the download button alone does not install VPN Global Protect. It's thinking about it. And it's asking if I will allow this program or app to make changes to my computer, and it says it's by Palo Alto Networks, and I'm going to click yes. Waiting for it to install. It does take a moment, a few minutes at least. Comfy. Now it says that Global Protect is successfully installed, so I can click close to edit. Now I'm going to close this Global Protect portal window, and I'm going to close the Mohawk College window. I'm also going to shrink this down, and hey, there's Lab 0 underneath. I'm going to move that off to another window. And once you have Global VPN installed, one of the tricky things that a lot of people forget is you got to turn it on. Once you turn on Global VPN, or even before, I would shut off all of my browser windows. So I have Word document open. That's no problem, but I don't have any other browsers or other things open really. I've got Zoom, but Global VPN plays nicely with Zoom. So on my computer, the way I find Global VPN, you have two options. I bet you if you typed in Global Protect in your Windows menu, you could find it as an app. So if you click that, in my screen, it opens down here and I can click Get Started. Here it has me asking me to enter my IP address and domain. This information is provided to you in your setup instructions. Okay, so mine is different than what you will enter. Because I am staff, I enter staff vpn.vpn, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I've got that and it's connecting. In a moment, it will ask me for some information. So in my house, we have a couple of different people here. So obviously we've got me and we've got my husband who also teaches at Mohawk College. I'm going to select me. And here's where I enter my regular Mohawk College password. This should be somewhat similar to what you need to do to log in to Global VPN Protect and start it up for yourself. So down here it says connecting. I assume that students have similar instructions. It's asked me to select who this is again, and I'm going to again confirm that it is me and not my husband, Christian. So this is kind of my little launcher down here where I can see what I have open. I've got my Razer, which is the company that makes the camera I'm using, my Bluetooth thing. This is Intel HD graphics. This is Zoom. This is Windows Security. And here is my Global VPN Protect. And if I click it, it will say if I'm connected or not. And every once in a while, the globe spins. Super entertaining. All right. So that is how you install the Global VPN Protect. Please follow the student guide to do so at the URL provided in Lab 0. Next, looking at Lab 0, it says to point your browser to. If this point you had a browser window open, it is no longer secure or it won't work. So you need to open a new browser after you open Global VPN Protect, because now this browser window is on the Mohawk College protected network. So here is my browser window, and you could tell that I'm logged in because I've got all of the stuff that I love set up there. And it's asked me to point my browser to Mohawk Apps. So I will click into Mohawk Apps. Now, you will be in domain students because I am staff. I have to log in as staff. Again, you use your regular 9-digit student number and your regular Mohawk College password, and you click sign in. We do this every day at school. You guys should probably be used to that by now. So I've got, since it's logged in as me and it knows who I am, it's got my favorites lined up here. So there are some options. When we are doing Lab 0, we have the option to install these actually go to the vendor websites and download each of these onto our computer, or you can run them through Mohawk Apps. Now, it says here, is Mohawk Apps installed on your device? And then it wants me to retry validation. Okay, hold on. Okay, so let me reload the page just because it started doing wonky things. Okay, let's open this entirely. If I go to Putty, which is the next thing we will need, and I click launch, it will say launching app. We're attempting to communicate with apps anywhere on your device. It's thinking about this for a minute, and it won't be able to validate because I don't have apps anywhere downloaded on this device. Is apps anywhere don't installed on this device? So we can open the troubleshooter and follow along. Now I have selected, this is Windows, and it knows I'm using Chrome. It can see that. I clicked open. The client isn't installed. So I do not currently, I have, for the purpose of this walkthrough, I have uninstalled Apps Anywhere, which I previously had installed on my computer. So I currently don't have Apps Anywhere installed on my home computer in this particular room. So I'm going to click the app is not installed or isn't installed. And then I will click the install app. Okay. The download should start automatically. When the download is finished, click run to launch the software and click next when done appears. So don't close this window and don't click any other buttons. Up here in the corner where you have your downloads or wherever you store your downloads, I have clicked that and I have clicked run, and it says, do I want to allow this app to make changes to this device? And I'm going to click yes. And now it is currently installing Apps Anywhere. And again, this might take a moment. So now I can return to my browser to continue because it's installation complete. Oh, it's thinking about it some more. It's now installing the cloud paging player, which is one of the tools that Apps Anywhere uses to deliver its services. Waiting, hoping for this to complete. The computer I'm working on is not particularly fast. It is a very old computer. And now the installation is done. So now I have completed the installation. The client is installed is what I can click there. Retry Apps Anywhere validation. Open any Apps Anywhere launcher, and I can click yes, open that. And now it's doing this again, and I've got my validation is successful. And now I will put Open Apps Anywhere launcher. And in the launcher, which is my cloud paging server, it will tell me that that app has started. Okay, so also I'm going to close down my browser, or just shrink the browser down. And here I have that cloud paging server page. And here we have our lovely Putty configuration page. I'm going to put that on one side of my screen, and I'm going to put the Lab 0 on the other side of my screen. So it says that we log in, and it says to launch Putty. So we've got Putty going finally. And it says to enter the host name, CSUNIX.mohawkcollege.ca. We could put that right there. We've got port 22. The type is SSH, and then we can click open. The server's host key is not cached in the registry. You have no guarantee that the server is the computer you think it is. Okay, and it says if you do not trust this, abandon connection. It says hit yes to add the key to PuTTY's cache and carry on connecting. At this point, click yes. All right, so it has my login as. Now, teachers log in differently than students. Students should log in with their student number with an SA before their student number. So if your student number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, your login should be SA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For this, I am going to, in an off-screen mode, look up my password because I always forget it. Okay, so it's got your login as, and we're using PuTTY to configure some of our connections. The tricky thing about entering things into PuTTY is that we don't always see any bullets or any sign that we're entering text at all, which I find a little strange looking. I'm just looking up my information as I suspect you guys will open up your information wherever you like to keep your passwords. All right, I have found mine. So my connection is inactive. So if you want to start up PuTTY again, you may do so. And make sure you're still connected, and then return to your Mohawk apps window, and you could relaunch PuTTY again if you like. Okay, and it just will relaunch PuTTY. And sometimes, yeah, it shuts down. So again, this is good practice. We can put in that CSUNIX dot Mohawk College .ca. Oops, I'm typing that on the document. I meant to be typing that there. CSUNIX.mohawkcollege.ca. Port 22 SSH. We're going to open, and it's didn't have the scary message this time. So my login is, well, I'm not going to tell you. So you would log in, and your username should be your student number with an SA before it. So if your username is 000123456, then your username would be SA000123456. Your password, your initial CS Unix password is capital S, lowercase a, underscore, the year of your birth, in the 4-digit year of your birth, the 2-digit year of your month, and the 2-digit year of your day of birth. Okay, so in my case, let's open a notepad file here and zoom in. So in my case, mine would have been, if I was a student, SA_123799607. Okay, that is my employee number and my student number. That is not my login number for CS Unix because I'm a teacher. We get different credentials than students. My password would have been SA, if I was a student, that is. My birthday is May 3rd, 1976. So in my case, because I'm an oldie, not a goodie, 1976. So forever ago, 05 for May and 03 for my birthday. So May 3rd, happy birthday me. If you are born, I don't know when you guys would be born. If you were born in the year 2000, sorry, close the network connection again. If you were born in the year 2000 in June on the 13th, that would be yours, for example. Okay, so make sure you know when you are born. Oh, wait, there's one more thing, and there's an underscore there. Okay, so that is your initial password to logging into PuTTY. When you put your password into PuTTY, you must change it again and it will prompt you for this. The password that you create has to be minimum 8 characters. Okay, the rules are right here. You will now be prompted to enter a new password. Use something at least 8 characters, including uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special symbols, such as one of these. Do not use the same password that you use to access other accounts at Mohawk College or anywhere else. Some tips on creating a secure password. There are secure password generators online. And, you know, I would go with a security company, excuse me, because they would rather you, and you can control how long the password is. This is Norton antiviruses protector. So if you want an 8 number one, you could use any one of these. Sometimes I like to make my password sound like other words, like I'll pick a phrase, for example, bright star, and I will replace some of the letters and numbers so that it's got uppercase, lowercase, special character, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters long, for example. And, you know, maybe put something on the end. Okay, so it says bright star, but it's a little bit more memorable than KI. It's like I find if for me they stick to my brain a little bit better if I make them more memorable. I like to save my information on a notepad file or maybe Evernote, but Evernote's making me pay for it lately. So wherever you save your passwords, I won't tell anybody. So when you generate your new password, then you'll want to type it in. I don't do copy and paste personally. So you might want to practice typing your password in a few times to make sure it's easy enough for you to type in. All right. If you forget your password, I can reset it. I've reset some people's passwords many times. And basically, this is what I do. I might come here and because I've done about 20 password resets this semester, so I'll probably give you a weird looking one. If I give you a weird looking one like that, your new job is to log into PuTTY again and to change your password again. And I believe there's a time frame in which you need to do that. All right. So once we are logged in and you have changed your password, it is now time to try to log in to CSUNIX. So again, if you have my Mohawks apps at my college, you can launch Windows SCP. And you can open the launcher and just open that up on your system. Okay. That'll launch when it's good and ready to do so. There we go. So this is the CSUNIX launcher. Let me just shrink all the other pages. So it's the only thing we see on our page. Here, it's got csunix.login. I guess I don't know if it recognizes me as a user from previous sessions. So here's how you set this up. So in CSUNIX, you will be open the dialog box for CSUNIX.mohawkcollege.ca port 22, and then you need to click edit to enter your username and your password. Once you've typed in your password and your username will not be your last name. Your username will be your SA student number. Okay, so your student number, 9 digits with the letters S and A in front of it for student account, I believe. Okay, you can save that. It's going to ask us for the folder. In my case, I am going to click none. And it could save your password, but it's not recommended, and you can create a desktop shortcut. Now, if you live alone and you don't have anybody who's going to mess with you or mess with your computer, personally, I don't mind saving passwords where I can. And if it works once, it will work other times. Okay, so I'm going to click login. And it says that it's continue connecting to an unknown server and add its host key to cache. And I'm going to click yes, please do connect to the server. And then it says authentication banner, and I'm going to click continue. It's going to ask for my password again using my username. So I will type in my password again. And there is my server. So I have my public.html there, and you can see what other things I have there. So this is Holmes Dent, which is who I am. Here, it wants to point to OneDrive and Documents, which I don't recommend. So I might point to my documents, or hold on, I'll do the C drive. And you can kind of choose which directory on your computer you want it to be. So here I might browse, and it says the user is Chris, who is my husband. So I could choose this PC documents. I have my stuff here. Now, personally, I like to have a folder set up for this. So I like to have, let's open one of these. I like to have my Windows folder. So if it is my Jennifer folder, which is where I keep all of my items on this computer, because it is a shared family computer, I would go new folder, and I would put CSUNIX, and maybe that's my web folder that I will map to this. See right here, it sees that, and I'm going to say that that is my home directory on my computer, so that I can, every time I open CSUNIX, all of these files you can just download them, say, to your home directory. Hi there. This is Jen again, and I am continuing with part 2 of Lab 0 for my HTML and CSS students who need a little bit of help. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to share the screen in front of me, and just pardon me while I move a couple of things around. It's just gonna, I'll keep my face up in the corner, but I'm going to move my meeting controls. They're just a bit in the way. So far, we've created Lab 0 and we've been successful with getting started and getting CSUNIX to connect. If you have had password problems, please email me at my email address published on our course page. Let me know your name and student number and that you need a CSUNIX password reset. Once you receive an email back from me, please follow the instructions carefully and reset your password. Hopefully that fixes it. If it does not fix it, please email me again and ask that we open an IT ticket in order to investigate the problem. Thank you very much. All right. Now, I've got my screen sharing, so you should be able to see Lab 0 docx on my screen. I've got it open from modules just the same as you guys would. So part 2 is creating a skeleton.html file. So we've done this a lot in class. We have created just this basic, hold on, I just want to download this thing there. So I'm just going to open the instructions in a Word doc, so I have them there. It asks that your pages be used with Notepad++. And the reason for this is that with a simple editor that does not do a lot of extra work for you, like completing your tags for you, it leaves your brain to do much of the work. We like that as teachers because by doing all of the work, that means that, and doing that bit of repetition, it means that it will get into your brain easier. And HTML is similar to mathematics. You learn it by doing it. As a person that's not very good at mathematics, and it took me a long time to realize that it's one of the many things that you have to learn by doing, it's a lesson that hit hard. Okay. So here it instructs us to open Notepad++ via mohawkapps.ca. You can do it that way, and I have shown you how to connect to Mohawk Apps at home. What I chose to do on my computer, and you might like to do it on yours as well if you've got a PC, is you can look up Notepad++, and you can download it for free from notepad++.org. The address is notepad-plus-plus.org, or just Google Notepad++ and it will be located. So the current version of the software as of the time of this video recording, which is January 28th, 2025, we are on current version 8.7.6. Underneath the Home tab is the Download Center. You can choose the newest or any other update which you would like. I chose to download version 8.7.6. You can click here and then follow the prompts to download and install Notepad++ on your computer. This will install this software directly on your home computer, and then you do not need to open it through Mohawk Apps. However, if you have a Mac, you will notice that Notepad++ is not formatted to run on Mac, and there is no download available for Mac. So just click this button and follow the prompts to download and install. Now, I've already got it installed on my computer. So I am going to go down to my Windows and I'm going to click the Open New. So I'm going to zoom in like I normally do in class. And in our instructions, I'm just going to grab the Word document. In our instructions, we are now doing part 2. And it says that we will want to create this skeleton. And it says to enter the text exactly as shown while substituting your name and student number, replacing the placeholders my name and 000123456. Resist the temptation to copy and paste this code. You'll learn much better than typing every character and fixing your mistakes. Make sure to validate before you hit save. All right, so let's do this together. This isn't hard. We have done this in class. So we start with doctype.html. Remember to indent. We have HTML, and then we put in the language attribute. So lang equals en. You'll notice I make spelling mistakes just as anybody else. When we start a tag, we end a tag as well. So this is the beginning of your HTML tag, and this is the end. Make sure to close all of your tags with the necessary characters. Normally, I like to indent that level. Not everybody does. Okay, so we remember that our HTML has a head, and our head closes. And our HTML has a body, and we close the body. Please note that even though I tend to leave a nice clean space in between my head and my body, that no code should go there, just like Phil Heath, the weightlifter. So if we look at a picture again of Phil Heath, who is former Mr. Olympia, he does have a neck. He just doesn't have much of one. Not to body shame anybody, but bro is mostly shoulders and a little head. Okay, he has built himself up by lots of lifting so much that he is mostly body and head. Okay, enough teasing Phil Heath. So going back to my code here and looking at our example, it wants us also to put in our meta char set or char set equals, and it is UTF-8. That is a single tag. It does not have a partner tag or an end tag. Sometimes we refer to those as empty tags. And make sure that it is UTF. Okay, those have to be in the right order. I've had many students that muddle those up. Just a warning for you. Also, in our tags, it is necessary to have a title tag, and this puts the title of your web page on the tab of your browser window. So if I look at a browser window right now, there's lab 0, space, HTML and CSS. That was information that was put in the title tag. So we've got our title tag, and your title goes here. All right. Now, there are a couple extra tags that we put in our work so that we know it's kind of a solemn vow. Academic dishonesty is always a problem. Academic integrity issues tend to happen when people try to help each other and share their code with their colleagues and fellow students. We ask that you type this section in, and This is a start of an HTML comment and the end of an HTML comment. Here we're going to ask that you place the following sentence. My name, and I'm going to put in the placeholder student number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Certify, and let me put on the view and word wrap. Certify that this work is my own effort and that I have not allowed anyone else to copy from it. This promises the teachers that you have not copied and you have not allowed anybody else to copy. Now, this is also a note to not share your text or code in public forums. So in the discussions area of our web group, in if the Discord server that I have opened for the class, don't share your code there, because then you are not properly securing your work, and that is an academic integrity infraction. And you could get a 0 on your assignment. And depending on the severity of the integrity infraction and how many integrity infractions you have, you could get kicked out of college. You could lose your diploma. We could not let you back in the school. So it's really not worth it. Now, this is the skeleton in its entirety. Keep in mind that you are supposed to replace my name with your name. I'm going to do this from my perspective, just so you see it done. There's my first and last name, and 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 6. There is my student number. So if I were to edit this properly, that is what it would be. Also, in the head, below the title, you will see that there are tags for style and close style. These will be used during the course when we get into using CSS. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you could see all of the code. In the body, we have a P tag in there. Sorry, I just noticed that I didn't do that yet. Oops. P tags are always lowercase. Here I am going to type, this is an example of a paragraph of text in a very simple web page. Okay, just so you have some starter text in there. So when you go to test this, you can see that your page is working. Now, you'll notice that my code hasn't colored up at all, and that my diskette up here in the corner, I guess it's in this corner for you, is still red. It says new 1, and it is an unsaved file. That means that if somebody were to, if the power should go out right now, I would lose all of the work that I have entered here. Not that that's an incredible amount of typing, but I would be slightly irked. So let's do File, Save, or if you look here, it's got a keyboard shortcut, Control S. So I prefer the Control S on your keyboard, and that lets you save. Now you'll notice that by default, Notepad wants me to save in my program files. On a fresh install, this is what it wants to do. Never save user-created files in your program files. That's where all of the very important workings of your programs and software go, and your operating system. Don't go there. So we want to go on my computer. I have set myself up, again, that folder Jennifer on my computer, because that denotes that this is my stuff and my family won't go in it or mess with it because they know generally it's for my work and my files. They have no reason. So inside my Jennifer folder, you'll see that I have some home stuff for, labels and things I use around the house. I've got my HTML class. I've got a blank folder called new folder. I don't know what that's for. I should probably delete that. I have the project management for IT folders that I use for those classes. And then I have a CSUNIX folder. This is the local folder that I have set up on my system to hold all of the files that go on the web. If I double click that, you will see that it is completely empty at the moment. So we have been told to save this as skeleton.html. If you're not familiar with the English language, skeleton is the bones inside a human body, just in case you weren't familiar with the phrase skeleton. So since our code is very minimal, it is bare bones or a skeleton. So it asked us to call the file skeleton. If you're going to use the append extension button, please remember to change your extension from TXT, which is the default, to hypertext markup language, and then click save. You'll see that my file has colored up and all of the markup is highlighted. So I'm going to select and copy that. And I'm going to go to my, let's see, where is my marking setup? This is where I tend to have my HTML checker. So this is another validator from W3C. So the validator from W3C, I'm just going to check my work by copying and pasting it in there, and there's no warnings or errors to show. I love that green stripe. It means that I did a good job completing my tags and ending my tags and not making any spelling errors. Yay us. All right. So now that we've got our skeleton and we've got it saved, looking at our homework here, and you can even test it in your browser. So if you go to your CSUNIX file folder, or if you've created a different named file folder, you can double click on skeleton.html and you will see this is a simple example of a paragraph of text on a very simple web page. Indeed it is. So we don't expect very much more from that. However, in the instructions, let's look at what it wants you to do. Once you've entered a few lines of text, save your file. You can save work to the college PC, but you must remove these files before you leave the room because they get deleted. Don't save things to the college PCs. It's just a really bad plan. You may prefer to work on a USB memory stick, or if you're at your home computer, you might just want to save to the hard drive. I save it in, we are in, if you want to really look at it, this PC and documents. If you really want to go down to your directory levels, you would go to I'm working on an Acer, so it's called Acer C. This is my C drive. Then it would be users. I am under user Chris, who is the owner of this computer, my husband, and in documents, and it says this is empty. Where did it go? Now I'm confused. Hold on, users, public documents? It's not there either. How strange. At any rate, I know where I am if I click down here and documents, and there's my stuff. I might have to investigate that later. I don't want to mess up my video though, so I'm just going to keep going. So in my Jennifer folder, I have CSUNIX. In my CSUNIX, I have my skeleton folder. So the instructions say to save that, to click File, Save As. You can create a new folder in this window if you need to. So to show you the save as function, I'm going to close the file we're working on because the Windows operating system doesn't like saving or working with the files while your file is open. So if you right-click on top of your file name and go save as, where is my save as button? Send to, open, share, edit with. Weird, I don't have a save as button. Ah, copy. Copy's close enough. If you look at this, the instructions, we have been asked to, you can save that thoughtfully where you mean to, and then we are intended to create index.html. Copy skeleton.html to a new file named index.html. There are a few ways you could do this. So you could open the skeleton HTML and copy all of the text and paste it into a new folder called index.html. That's a good way to do it, but sometimes we make errors pasting. You can right-click and copy and paste a version of the file in File Explorer and rename this index.html. Now, to me, that seems like an awful lot less clicks. So let's open up that index.html. So title goes here. It says it's called index.html. My files are going to OneDrive. Okay, I don't like that. I'll have to fix that later. Like I said, this is a new semester, new install on my machine. So if I want to edit with Notepad++, you can see it's index.html now. Now, you are expected to edit this in Notepad++, and you're supposed to change the title tag to be CO710 and your name. So your title goes here. CO710 and your name, or in my case, my name. Jennifer Dent. Okay, hit Control S to save. What else do we got to do? Change your paragraph in the middle of the body. Delete the text and replace this HTML. If you copy and paste from this MS Word, you will get unusual quotation marks. Do you want to see that? All right, so I'm going to copy and paste so you could see the weird quotation marks. You don't need this paragraph right there anymore. So if I paste, your quotation marks look all mucked up. It is much better to first, if you are going to copy and paste directly from a Word document, to put that, use a notepad, a plain old-fashioned notepad, like that. Okay, I'm going to delete those quotes because they're better typed in the HTML. I'm going to retype them again though. So if you put that in there, make sure everything is indented correctly. Okay, and make sure to put your quotations around your HTML. Also, it looks like I should have a folder called Lab 1 in my CSUNIX. That is what that means. So here in my CSUNIX window, I am going to make a new folder, and the spelling looks like capital L, B, and just a 1 right attached to it. I suspect that I am supposed to have one of those for every single lab. There are 6. Why don't we create those now? New folder, lab 2. New folder, lab 3. New folder, lab 4. New folder, lab 5. New folder, lab 6. Okay, so we're all set up to put our files for our labs. Now, what index means to do is that for every lab, let's save this and show what it's going to show you. So if I were to open this index file again, let's see, that skeleton, I can just simply delete that name and put in index.html. You could see that it will have my name and student number once I fill that in, and a link to my lab 1 lab. So we're making a navigation page. So we could put here your name and student number. I'm going to put mine. Okay, you don't need to get fancy with it. And then I am going to copy this line a bunch. And even though those don't exist yet, I might paste that in 5 more times. Now you see the quote here says lab 1, this will be 2 and 3 and 4, lab 5, lab 6, and you will also want to change this. Will be lab 2, and you will want to name that lab 2. You will want to name that lab 3, and this should be lab 3. This should be lab 4, and this should be lab 4. This should be lab 5, and that should be matching. And lastly, 6 and 6. Now we don't have anything built to go in those yet. And I don't want people clicking all around and ending up with broken pages and broken links. I just don't think it looks very professional. So what I will do is I can create a comment around these in my HTML, and that means these won't show up. But the work is already done, so they're all ready to go for when I need them. This isn't in the lab, it's just something I would like to do. Okay, so you see that we got our lab set up, and to show you that those won't show up, I have saved my file and I reload, and you can see that my name has changed up there. We got lab 1. And if we go to lab 1, there's nothing there because we haven't built a lab1.html yet. That's for you to do. However, when you see you build your lab 1, if we go file new, and this is going to be file saved as, you could save it as lab 1, and you will save it inside your lab 1 file. Make sure that it is an HTML hypertext markup language. You can unclick the extension and just save it like that. Okay, there's nothing in here yet, but we had skeletons. So if we open skeleton again, there is our plain old skeleton file. So we can always start by copying that and pasting it into our lab 1. From here, you can save this file. And maybe you want to edit it. Okay, save that. So I just put in broccoli because I know our lab one is about broccoli. I don't know if that's the exact title though, so maybe do a spell check on me. So if I click that again or refresh this, this will be my lab file, and you can see at the top it says broccoli. So this is kind of how we start our files. Now let's review. Okay, you save your work. To create lab1.html, you copy a new one to lab1. One thing it doesn't seem to have mentioned on this instruction is it doesn't say to create yourself a lab1 folder. So I'm glad I taught you. All right. So now we have our fake lab1, which isn't really correct yet. And look, it says change the paragraph to say something like that. So yeah, let's use that paragraph on our lab1 file. No problem, we can change that right away. Okay, and we're going to put it on our CSUNIX server. So let's save and let's close our Notepad++. Once you've got your work saved, you can close it. I'm going to move my Word document out of our screen over there. And I'm going to refresh my broccoli page, and it says that it's up on the Unix server. However, we know that it is running from my user OneDrive, which I need to disable. So we know that is mostly correct. We are going to close our browser window entirely, and all of my other browsers that we happen to have open, and extra things. All right, so now we're back to trying to connect to our server. Remember, the first step, once you are shut down, the only things that I have open right now, oops, I got my inbox open. I'm going to close this other, sorry, I had a window open on my other screen. I have an email that I was going to finish or reply to. Let's close that down. I don't want any internet applications open. Right now, my Zoom is running, but it does not interfere with the VPN, and the VPN does not interfere with my Zoom. So looking at my area down here, what I'm going to do is, this is my VPN globe. It's not very clear on mine. You can also type in VPN and it will have your Global Protect app. So if you click that, it will say disconnected. Mine says staff VPN. Yours will be hooked up as the instructions went through. And if you have VPN issues, you need to go to IT or the Digital Creativity Center and make an appointment to talk to somebody, because that is not something I teach. All right, so I have selected who I am a couple of times because we have 2 Mohawk users on this. You can see that the VPN is currently connecting down here. All right, so it has disappeared, and if I click here, you can see that it has turned blue, and if I hover over it, it says that it's connected. All right, so if I choose to be connecting to I'm now going to open a Google window. Now this is connected using the VPN. This is now going to look to the system like I am at Mohawk College. So if I type apps, Mohawk College, I will come to my Mohawk College apps, and I can start up those necessary things. I can open the Apps Anywhere launcher that I have on my computer. And you can see that the verified button showed up and it verified. Right now, we are going to launch Windows SCP. We don't need PuTTY. We're just going to use Windows SCP. Yes, we open the launcher. Okay, so there is our launcher there. And you will see that it wants me to log in and it tries to open a new workspace. But I see here that it has my csunix.mohawkcollege.ca space. So we're going to open that. Last time that I logged in, I did indeed tell it to save the password and my username. If you're the only user on your computer who uses WinSCP and you're pretty confident nobody is going to use your computer and log in and steal your stuff, which I mean, honestly, if somebody steals your computer, they're just going to wipe your computer and sell it. So you can click login and I will tell it to never show that banner again. And here we have a visual of the directories. Here I am in my Dent directory, which yours will probably say SA and your student number. The teachers, we have ours by last name. So where you are instructed, let's get that instructions back. Uploading files to CSUNIX. Let's look at these instructions. Open WinSCP via mohawkcollege.ca. In the dialog box, okay, you do all of this jazz. We did that already. We're all connected up. Okay, and we will start by seeing two panels kind of similar to this, except for the teacher who did this screenshot, he's got a lot of stuff on his, and I don't have as much stuff on mine. He's been at the college for years and years. So Wayne Collins is showing on his C drive here. C drive users Wayne Collins, that's the professor's name, and his documents. On mine, it says users Chris, who's my husband. It says OneDrive, which I don't want my stuff coming from OneDrive, but I'll resolve that another day. Documents Jennifer/CSUnix, and this is all the stuff that's in my CSUnix file on my computer, not on CSUnix. You can even call it web files instead of CSUnix or sync to web, depending on what makes you feel safe. So here, and you can see that we are outside of my public drive in my root directory. And you can see that I have some classes there, but some files there, but not the ones that we need. So you will see this. This is, let's just go back to our WinSCP here. This is my computer, local. The word we use is local. And this is the CSUnix server. So it is actually probably on a server computer somewhere at Mohawk College. I don't even know what room it is or where it's at. You can see here that we have a drop down to root, home, and Dent. If I go to home, it will list all of the teachers that are on this directory. I'm not going to do that. None of your business. Okay, so what we've been asked to do is navigate the left plane location where you stored your index files and lab 1 files. And I think he probably meant to say on your computer. So I happen to be already there, but if you are not, you can see we are located there. This is clickable, okay? So don't. But if I go to documents and go to Jennifer and then go to CSUnix, you can see all of the things that I have there. Now, it says on the right side of Windows SCP, double click on the directory public_HTML and then open the private folder by double clicking it. So there is our public HTML, double click that, and then double click the private. And this is where we should be putting our files. Now, let's look at the next direction. On the double clicking it, drag using the left mouse button your index file over to the right side, depositing the file in your private directory. There are a couple ways to do this. Let's do it with different ways with different files because we've got so many. So Here is our skeleton. I know it doesn't say to upload it. I might upload it anyway, just so I have it on the server. So if I want to download it to another computer, it's kind of like a nice little holding cell for my stuff. If I wanted to upload that, please note, there is also an upload button right there. You could simply click, and it's asking me where it wants to go. Upload file skeleton.html to remote directory, and then it's listing this address right there. home/dent/public_html/private/, which means inside private. So I might say, okay, and there it goes. And to me, that seems a little less nerve-wracking than dragging something. Also, if you have shaky hands or you do not use click and drag or use a mouse, using the upload function, which is also F5, is much easier. So if you have motor issues, like you've got a shake or your grip on your mouse is not so good, then that's the way to do it. Now, so we did that. You can create a new directory under the private directory on CSUNIX named Lab1. You will see the new button on the menu. I want to experiment, if you will allow it. I want to see if my created Lab1 directory can be uploaded. It can indeed. So you can select by clicking and hitting the shift button all of the rest of your directories. You can then click upload and then hit OK. And there you have your labs 1 through 6. Now, if you remember, we saved our lab HTML inside our lab 1. Let's see if it's still there by double-clicking the lab 1 file folder. There it is. All right, so we built something, and look, I've got it there as well. If I right-click that and edit it, we actually get a very simple editor come up. Although it doesn't have all of the color that we're used to, we could really edit our HTML there, but it's not as pretty as Notepad++ or as featured as some of the other things. So if I go back and open Notepad++, for instance, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to file, open, and I'm going to choose from my recents. It is lab 1 that I want to edit. Let me just check the actual directory to where I want to go. So we were told to go there, which is the link provided in your directory. Now yours will be tilde SA and your student number /private. Mine will not be. Because I'm a teacher, mine is my last name. Sadly, it is a lot easier. I think I need to put the tilde in again though. So I think I need the tilde and just simply dent. Then it wants my username and password. So it's a private directory, so it does want my username and my password. Let's see, do I still have that up in a window somewhere? I'll have to look it up on my phone. Sorry, my password's kind of long. All right, so I'm just gonna look that up on the app that I've got to do that. Recent notes. I'm just gonna look that up. Wrong thing to look it up in, of course. Ah, now I remember it. Okay, that letter. That letter. right, I've typed in my password. I'm going to click sign in. So now I can see my name and my lab one, and this is that index file. So this is the index file. We are currently looking, if we want to look here, we are in, if we want to go up a level, I think we simply use the back button. So if we want to go up a level, we are currently looking at index.html. If I wanted to look at skeleton HTML, all I would have to do is type in SKETL, help if I remembered how to spell skeleton. And there is my skeleton. Cool. All right, so let's go back and click on Lab 1. And here you could see Lab 1/Lab 1 is open. And this is my Lab 1 document up on the CSUNIX server. Now, if you don't believe that and you want me to make a change to it, or maybe I made a change to it and it's got a problem. So I'm just going to put that in a separate line. So I'm just going to edit this code to show that I can edit in one window, and then I can also view in another window. Okay, I remembered to save. That's key. Now, because I've made a change to this file, you will see that the last change is at 4:13, which is just looking at my clock just a second ago. I will put Lab 1. I'll go back to where I always like these to look the same when I'm uploading, so I know it's going where I intend it to go. I'm going to select that file and click upload. And it's going to confirm with me that that's where I want to put it. And it will give me a couple of other choices if I want to choose those. But I'm going to stick with putting it in Lab 1 folder, and I'm going to click OK. It's asking me if I want to overwrite lab1.html. This means that I'm going to write over the file that I have live. So it's comparing the days, the times that these were published. So the first one I published at 3:57. This one I published at 4:13. I'm going to say yes. You have the option for it to never ask you this again and to just overwrite whatever you're going to overwrite. But it's probably a good practice to leave that there, just to put in a pause, just to make sure you know what you're doing, just while you're new. So hit yes. So now you will see that the new date, and the dates on my server are very important because they help me figure out what happened and when and who did it. So 4:13:06. So if I go to my browser window and I refresh this, you will see that I added a header. So if you're the kind of person that likes to see what you're doing working on the server as you do it, then this is important. Let's try doing something else, shall we? Now, I know lots of you have difficulty getting your images to link. It can be a little bit tough in the beginning, and I understand why you're having some difficulty. So let's download the broccoli image, and let's go to our assignment. No, I want to go to module, then Lab 1. Okay, so we've got our broccoli large JPEG, and it is large. So I am going to save link as, and I am going to save that in my documents in Jennifer, but not in my CSUNIX yet, and you'll see why. So if I start a new folder, and I'm going to call this one Lab 1, I'm going to put behind it, though, working. So I know it's my working files. I think I told you guys about that in class like yesterday. I don't like to put files directly onto my server. So we don't have, let me check on this computer and see what I have to edit that image since this is a new install. Let's see, Paint 3D. I think I have to scroll all the way to Windows Accessories and go to MS Paint again because I don't have very much installed on this computer at all. So if I go File, Open, and then I locate that file, it's in my HTML and CSS, Lab 1 working, and there is my broccoli. And we'll recall that that broccoli is 1,280 pixels by 854 pixels, which is like your whole screen when viewed at 100% at certain resolutions. We're going to resize it. There's a resize button right here, right under view, kind of right there. Now, we like to, I like to know how many pixels stuff is, and I like to click this maintain aspect ratio button so that is checked. Okay, that'll keep it from getting skinny broccoli or really tall broccoli or really fat broccoli because you stretched the picture and made it all pixelated and yicky. We don't do that. All right, so I want to change this. I'm just going to make it 400 pixels, and then the vertical size of it will be selected based on how tall it is because it's maintaining that aspect ratio. And then I click OK, and then I'm going to do File, Save As. Now I know that mine is 400 px by, you can do by or a large X. Say if you want to do a large X, you could do 2, or you could do 400 large X to 66 px. That tells me at a glance in my file view how large my image is without me having to click on every freaking image and load it up and see how big it is. It's just a real time saver. So I'm going to hit save. And then I am going to close my paint program, and then I've got my broccoli image saved. Now I'm going to do something a little different here. So I'm going to open up 2 of those file explorers. Let me just shut down the stuff in the background so we're not distracted by all of these windows. I'm still going to stay connected to Windows SCP though. So you will see that I have 2 File Explorer windows here. I'm going to go to Jennifer, HTML and CSS, Lab 1 working on one window. In this other window, I'm going to go to my CSUNIX file, my Lab 1, and I'm going to make something new. I've been telling you for days to save all of your images into an images folder. I'm going to make one. So create a new folder called images. Double click, and you can drag this broccoli image over to that window and save it there. Now, something I have noticed about my image file name is that it's got jpeg.jpg. I don't know how it got to be like that, but I am going to remove one of those JPEGs. So it's just simply that title. Now, while I've got that title up and the file in front of me, I am going to select the whole file name and I'm going to copy it. You can guess what I'm going to do next. In this file where we've got our Lab 1 open, I am going to change my file. I'm going to say here's a header, and then I am going to do img src equals quote quote, and then in that quote quote, I'm going to put that broccoli. We know that we are inside Lab 1. /images/ but we are also on the Unix server. So in order to get it to link on the Unix server, I need to go back in and I need to copy HTTPS, CSUNIX, Mohawk College, tilde, my username, private, and the whole works. So, just so you know, if I have that open in a browser window, for example, right here, I would need this part up until, hey, there's the lab one again. So I am just going to steal that and overwrite that bit. Oops, V. Okay, so you could see the whole address that I'm copying. This is called an absolute link. Now, if you want to test this before you put it on the internet, you can simply, and actually it won't work yet. I forgot a thing. So there is your basic image thing, but remember your alt text for anybody who is not able to see your image, or just in case your image breaks, and for SEO as well. Bunches of raw broccoli. And I'm just going to put decorative image because it is not an informational image. It's a decorative image. We're putting it there because maybe it looks nice and we want to see broccoli. Okay, so right now we have our image source and we've got our image links. We have an alt tag. I'm going to hit save again. Okay, so we have an absolute link. Now, when I go to Windows SCP again, we can look at Lab 1 and you will see that this automatically picks up that I have entered this images folder onto my computer, or I've created it. So we're going to just upload that and then we are going to hit yes. And it's going to upload images and the image inside our folder images. So if you want to test your image link before you actually test your web page, say if you want to test if your link is correct before you even type it in, you could put in your whole link right there and hit enter. It should be able to pull that image from wherever it is on the web. And it does. It goes right to my CSUNIX and pulls it right off the web. So that is how you can make that work. So if we hit Control S to save this again, and we upload, where's my WinSCP? We upload our lab one again, and it's going to say, are you really sure? And then it asked me, it looked, it tried to do something bad. It tried to private /lab1/images. It tried to save it in its images. Keep an eye on that. So you just want it in lab 1. Okay, then hit OK. Overwrite the lab 1. Yes. And then we can test this out because this is our lab 1 file again. And hey, it's starting to look like lab 1 a little bit. All right, now that's as far as I'm going to go because I've already given you guys a lot more help than some of the other classes get. But I hope this has really helped you to figure out how CSUNIX works and how it relates to your computer. Remember to set yourself up in a development environment on your computing space, such as my CSUNIX file, but you can easily call that something like web dev file, web dev PC, whatever makes you feel less confused. In retrospect, naming it CSUNIX Might have been a little confusing. Maybe CSUNIX mirror? Whatever you like, as long as you know what you mean. All right, that's it for me. I'm signing off. I hope you all get this working and are able to hand in your Lab 1. Thanks so much. Bye.